Hi everyone, I hope you all. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin once again. Thank you for support. Okay, big up the CoinsKid crew. Thank you to each and every single one of you. Thank you for sharing the content, liking the content, and your subscription on YouTube. Please do follow me on Twitter. I've got over 100,000 likes on Twitter, followers, on Twitter. You know, and again, thank you for your support and thank you for the nice comments. So this is a zoomed out view of Bitcoin, the brave new coin. This ticker is BLX. I think this is the oldest data set that we can find for Bitcoin. Okay, so basically you've got a peak there, yeah. So to drop a vertical line in your charts, it's Alt V. Just there you've got a peak, and just there you've got a peak, and right now we're missing a peak, aren't we? Effectively, a lot of people say that this is the top just there for Bitcoin. A lot of people are saying that that's the top, but personally I don't think it is, and I'm going to show you why in a moment. Okay, it could be, obviously, and I could be completely wrong, but I think that, you know, from here to here was a cycle, from there to there was a cycle, from there to there was a cycle, and you can see effectively if I drop that in just there, that's the start of the Bitcoin cycles basically. So we had that lovely run up, you had your bear, and then you had your bull market just there, you had your run up in your bear, and then your bull market, and then your bear, and then your bull market, and then your bear, and now you're in a bull market basically until you're not basically. So I do think we've got continuation in this bull market. Again, nothing I say is financial advice, for educational entertainment purposes only. I do apologise, I've got a cold today, but basically I do think that we're looking at a lengthening cycle here, and the reason is I'm going to drop something into the charts at the moment that tells me that Bitcoin's not done. Okay, and even if it falls down, it's going to offer a better opportunity to go forward, because I do see Bitcoin getting to those technical targets that I have, in the channel and on my thumbnail. And the reason is because I've got to each and every single one in every time frame here and every single cycle. So what I'm going to show you right now is basically a tool. Basically, it's called the Bitcoin Logarithmic Growth Curves and Zones tool, and it's by Maboni. Yeah. So drop it into your charts, and then it looks like that. Okay, so basically it shows you these red zones at the top here. You can't quite see that, but this is where you wicked up to that particular resistance, and you wicked up there as well, and then you wicked up there as well. And after each point of contact there, you rolled into a bear. Okay, rolled into the bear just there, and then this is your start. So you come up, hit the peak, bear, peak, bear, peak, bear. Okay, and so one thing we've not done yet is hit the top of this band. Okay, now you can see here in this instance just here, we got a little bit extended from the medium line of this band, didn't we? And with that we put in a correction down to the monthly 20 EMA, and you can see we come back up and we ran into the medium band again, and we're rolling back down. And where's support? It's on the monthly 20 EMA at best case basically, because if we do start to lose that, you can see from historical data of Bitcoin, if you do start to lose this monthly 20 EMA, you are entering a bear market. Okay, so people that say we're in a bear here is bear market hopium. There's no bear market here. There's we're on the cusp of a bear market, obviously, but you was on the cusp of a bear market with that as well. Okay, you're on the cusp of a bear market with every single correction that you go through after an impulsive wave for Bitcoin or any project. But if you hold support, you do not enter the bear. So anyone that's saying we're in a bear market is talking absolute bullshit basically, because we're not in bear shit basically, because we're not in a bear market. We're in a corrective phase of a bull market. If we lose support and structural support, which I've given you, then that's the confirmation of a bear market. So at the moment we're coming back, we're consolidating in a range, okay, looking to get to this point here at the top of this logarithmic growth curve, okay, because that's something we've always done in each and every cycle. So one thing I want to bring to your attention is right now we've not done that. So that's good moving forward, because we've not completed a task. Do you understand that? So it doesn't mean that we can't lose support and enter the bear. Obviously there's no guarantees or certainties, but one thing that this particular chart that I'm looking at right now is telling me is that we are lengthening, isn't it? You can see it from inception, a peak, okay, bear, peak. Look, that was that distance there. From there to there was longer than this cycle. So effectively, why wouldn't this cycle be longer than this cycle? Because it's getting longer. Okay, so for me, I think that we're still on the road to 260k, and that's why if you look at the thumbnail, it says the road to 260k. It always has been. It's a case of when do we get there? I wish I could tell you, but given this logarithmic growth curve, if we do keep an eye on this, as this starts to roll round, when could we sort of have a bit of a rough estimate as to when it would actually be there? So let's draw it just as a little guide. Let's do something like this, like that. Okay, so you can see it's sort of doing it. Now let's drop the fibs on, which has given us our target. Okay, it's given us our target of 260k per Bitcoin. So one thing I want to show you is the reason why I've got them targets as well, you know, because Bitcoin has always done it in previous bull runs. It's always got to the 2414 Fibonacci on logarithmic scale, okay? It's always got to that log every time. That was the top, that was the top, that was the top, okay? So for me, you know, Bitcoin is on a journey, isn't it? So let's take a look. This is your fib just here, and that's that one just there, and then this is this one just there. So let me outline this to you, okay? So from here, we rolled into the bear, and we came up and we ran into the 2414 at the top of the band just there, okay? The 2.272 in this instance, do you see that? But as we came up, we sort of ran into the 1618 and got caught between, consolidated between the 1272 and the 1414, okay? Do you see that? Caught between, and this is where you consolidated before breaking out to the upside and meeting the expectations, and a 2.272 with a little bit of extension to the 2414. So then we rolled into the bear, okay, and with that you can see in this particular fib as well, I'll get rid of that previous one just there, drop that out for you just there so you can see it better. So you can see in this cycle, from this high to this low, we started to come up, okay, and we ran into the fibs again. Look, we're running to the 1414, we're coming back to the 1272, ran into the 1618, coming back to the 1414, and then when we broke out, we came all the way up, and we wicked all the way up to the 2414, beyond the 2.272, at the top of the band. Do you see that? So right now, Bitcoin is doing exactly the same. Let me get rid of that fib for you right now, okay? So it's doing exactly the same as in previous cycles, and I've shown you all this content before in numerous videos. Okay, in numerous videos I've shown you this content. So let's move this over like that, okay? So we're looking at around about 260k at the moment off that low and that high for Bitcoin. Let me make sure that's knob on just there. Yes, it is. So that's your cycle high, okay? So then you roll into the bear and you're starting to work your way through the fibs again. And yet again, as you have done in previous cycles, you ran into the 1618, okay, and you come back to the 1272. You ran into the 1618 again, failed to close above, and you're now holding the 1414. So like I said to you, you're caught, you're consolidating, and effectively, if you do look at this particular pattern on the monthly time frame just there, because this is a monthly, look, you've got a whopping ascending triangle that you're coiling up inside of. Look, you come up like that, boom, 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 boom. Now, if you're holding support, like I said to you, there's no bear market here. There's continuation. So as soon as you break that resistance, this is where you're going to get the break, and you're going to come up and essentially come to the 2.272 with the potential overshoot just there, you know, wherever it is, up to the 2414, and that could be your bear market at your bull market top. So I wish I could find a way of drawing this better than this, okay? So if we start to draw this like this, start to come up like that, I'll try and keep it as best as I can. You know, this is sort of when you could at first be. Move this over as well like that so you can see. It's a bit this is really rough arse, isn't it? It's at 260. So yeah, round about there, June 2023. But you could theoretically not run into the 2.414 and top out at 203k at round about 1st of November 2022. So that could actually be your target there, and we might not actually get to the 260, and the 2.272 might be the target, but who knows? Who knows? We did meet the 2414 in the previous bull run and the previous bull run before that. So, you know, theoretically, if we do start to do something like this, this is when you could actually get to that point at the earliest. That's what I'm trying to say. You will not get there before that unless you go insanely parabolic and you break out of this logarithmic chart. Do you see that? Because you do something like this and start to come up, that's when you could get there. Which is, you know, a year away basically, providing you hold the support just there and not roll. Now, to invalidate this particular scenario here for Bitcoin, I mean, it could do something like this, where it continues like that, okay, and we roll. Yeah, we roll into a bear and we come back down, and then we come up in the next cycle and this it. But at the minute, we have to adhere to what's in front of us, and that's structural support, and that's exactly what we've got for Bitcoin. We're not losing any structural support. So, you know, this is a bear market scenario where you roll over like this, and you come into the bear, oh shit, and then you come out the other side, and then hit the 260k off this logarithmic chart like that. Do you see that? Eventually, down the line, who knows? But so far, whilst you're holding support, you have to look at continuation, and that's what I've got in front of me. And you know, I'll be lying to you if I said to you, look, we're coming down here, because we've not lost low structural support yet. Do you see that? You know, and even on the monthly time frame here, if we do, you know, take this little squiggle out here, you've got a beautiful ascending triangle that's beginning to form because you're holding the support of it, you know, on the monthly time frame right there, which is a bullish continuation pattern on the monthly time frame. You know, you're coiling up inside of it as well. You can see you are. So if you start to come up and break that resistance, you've got continuation, you've got a technical target of an ascending triangle as well, you know, which brings you all the way up there to the 107k, which I've been telling you about. You know, so at that point you sort of break out, at some point come to the 107k, we trace back to the 1618, and at that point you start to come up and get to those particular targets. The long, slow, drunken walk to appreciation. It's when you start to lose key levels of support that will give you technical targets on the downside that you'll need to hold, you know, and at that point you come back up. And those technical targets on the downside that I give you will be optimal entry points, because you can see that Bitcoin is doing something like this, isn't it? You know, rolling it up and down in the bear, and this cycle is indeed longer, basically, as well, as I'm trying to say to you. So that's basically Bitcoin, you know, a bit of sort of zoomed out TA, just to have a bit of a zoomed out perspective on it. At the moment, people screaming for a bear market are talking out the bumhole, basically, because you've not lost any structural support for the continuation of the bull, okay, and any downturn is hopium. So in actual fact, I'm going to show you a little bit of hopium right now that I've been looking at, okay, for the bears, basically. Let's take a look at this bear market hopium for the bears right here on the daily time frame. I was using this during this morning, basically. This is bear market hopium, because a lot of people have said to me, you know, what is the bear case, what is the rollover case, and what's your support? And I've told you, technically, for me, you know, it's this swing low just here, okay? You've got this swing low down here at 30, top end of 39k. Now, if you start to lose that, you know, you're rolling here, and you can see you're losing this low, and you're rolling, basically, and it's not a nice roll, because you've got such a large, you know, impulsive retracement ahead of you, basically. And if you do start to roll, you know, and you lose this low down here, this foundation which you've built, which I think is an absolute amazing level of support down here for Bitcoin. Now, if you was to roll, then this could be the bear case scenario, okay, coming back down. But if it did happen, this would offer a fantastic opportunity, because at that point, you know, you've come down, and that's where you start to come back up to the 260k, you know, at that point, and you've grabbed so much more interest in Bitcoin, and it's shaking people out as well. I'm not saying it will happen, but this is a potential scenario, and I'll run through this with you right now, okay? So effectively, you know, a lot of people are looking at this sort of dead cat bounce scenario here, aren't they? Run into a key level resistance, a lower high than that, and that's called a dead cat bounce. A retracement to around about 50%, 60%, and you run into it, and then you roll, and effectively, look, you could see that you're creating a whopping big head and shoulders pattern here, okay? Now, the thing is with head and shoulders pattern, they are symmetrical by design. Usually they are, okay? We had one just here which was very symmetrical as well, which I gave you the breakdown target of. Do you remember this one? Way back in May, wasn't it? We've got this left shoulder, we've got this beautiful head, and we've got this right shoulder, and by design, you know, they're symmetrical in distance. And then once we lost that support, I gave you the technical breakdown short target as well for Bitcoin, and you can see that it came down and met that target like a boss, okay? And at that point, I remember making a video about the head and shoulders just here as well, you know, way back there in May when it was breaking down, and I was even telling people you were coming down here anyway before that, but no one believed me, and it was because you was losing support of a pattern, basically. And like I said to you, the pattern that's in play is valid until invalidated away, you know. And potentially this is hopium just here, this head and shoulders pattern is hopium, but I'm always going to make you aware of the bear. This is what I do, you know, technical analysis. And from that, if we was to sort of come along now, we've got this head, left shoulder, we've got this head and this potential right shoulder. If we do start to lose support just here, then yes, you're going to be in a technical target to 20k. So given a bit of TA here, potentially, when could that happen, and when could we see the bear market low, basically, if we have entered the bear market here and we're not looking to sort of go on in that logarithmic curve that I've just shown you, and we are going to lose a monthly, and we are going to come down, and the all big ifs, isn't it? But at the minute, you are holding structural support for the continuation of the trend that you're in, which is a bull market, basically, which is an uptrend. So this is a bit of hopium, bear market hopium for the bears, but it is a possible scenario that I am looking at, and I always make you aware. This is what I do, okay? So, you know, I've got my targets up there, and I'm not biased towards them. It is what it is. If it holds support, you're looking at it, but if you lose support, you've got technical targets to the downside. So with this, you've got this head and shoulders pattern just here. This is your head, this is your neckline. If you lose support just here, why have I done this? Why this? Because it's the same length as that, okay? Because like I said to you, by design, head and shoulders are symmetrical. So if we come down here, and this is the beginning formation of the right shoulder, and we start now to put in a dead cat bounce, and we roll, and we lose this support around about February, okay, and we come up, yay, we're going bull, we're going to break the high, but we don't, and we roll, then this could play out, and this would give us an amazing opportunity. It would give us an amazing short opportunity. But the only trouble is, you know, like I always say to you, you the pattern that's in play is valid until invalidated away, you will be looking at a whopping 56% short up down to 20k, which would be the previous all-time high, you know, of the previous bull run, back testing support, which we've never done, but there's always times for new things, isn't there, moving forward. But it would offer a fantastic opportunity, you know, and some people would like that opportunity. Myself personally, I would, because I would absolutely load up there, and I would obviously carry the short down as well. But there is a foundation here, isn't there? There is a huge foundation here that's been built for Bitcoin. So would it not necessarily fall through that, you know, and bounce off that, and we'd effectively be looking at some kind of double top, some kind of double bottom, caught between a range, consolidated, like I said to you, between the 1618 and the 1272, get a retest of support at the 30k, and then we break out. So it's all big ifs. Everything's big ifs, isn't it? But this is a potential scenario right now, you know, and I don't ignore the bear. Of course I don't. I'll tell you everything. You know, support and resistance, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So yeah, that's quite a detailed update on Bitcoin today. I do apologise. Really long. I've rambled on. I'm really sorry. Just here, this is a potential play. If we come up and create a right shoulder and we run into the resistance and put in the same framework as this left shoulder, which usually it's symmetrical by design, I'll show you right now. You know, look at this previous head and shoulders, look at that, and then we've got the distance here. If we measure that from that left shoulder there to the right shoulder, you can see that took around about 20 days, and then this right shoulder to there, that took around about 20 days before it lost support as well. I mean, look at that, boom, see you later, you know. So they are symmetrical by design, and the height as well is symmetrical, and that's why all I've done is copied this bars pattern here and dropped it here from the formation of this left shoulder, and it gives you, you know, your target basically there of losing support around about, you know, the start of February in 2022, if this does play out like this particular pattern that everyone's envisioning here, isn't it? This sort of this is the only bearish pattern I can find as well, by the way. I can't find any other bearish pattern, and it's not even formed yet. So this is why I say it's opium, because I'm drawing a pattern that's not even formed yet, you know. And I've just shown you essentially a huge ascending triangle on the monthly time frame, which is really bullish. So this essentially is opium. Do you understand that? But I'll always do my best for you and show you what I see, basically. So that's basically Bitcoin. Sorry I rambled on. Take care, everyone. Back soon with another update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.